Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Bill Marshall of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? With the calendar flipping into a new month, can you believe we're 2/3 of the way through this college football season? Slow down, Father Time. Grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Wake Forest at Notre Dame. 1988 was the last year the Leprechauns took the national championship trophy. Coach Brian Kelly's 2012 ball club went all the way to the Natty, but were dismantled by the Tide, 42-14. Is this the year Irish fans have been seeking for 5 years, or more like 30? The numbers appear to be lining up for the Catholics, and when the Bedlam Baptists from Tabaki Road roll into South Bend, a hellfire and brimstone sermon from Demon Deacon will fall on 80,000 deaf ears. The Generals victor, Notre Dame. Auburn at Texas A&M. The Plainsmen saddle up and ride west to College Station for this high noon fiesta in 12th man territory. The Galloping Gusses enjoyed a breather last week, as the back end of their schedule features the nation's number 1 and number 2 teams. The Ags aren't one of those teams sitting atop the polls, and with the schizophrenic coaching style of their 6-year head man, few in Texas think this team will soar that high anytime soon. But first things first, A&M needs to knock off the Tigers, which they won't do. The Generals victor, Auburn. Iowa State at West Virginia. ISU has garnered more ink during this season of General Gridiron than any of the past seasons combined, and with good reason. Ames is aiming high, and there's no reason to slow down this thrill ride. The number 14 Cyclones spin eastward to the Monongahela shore for a date with WVU. Since entering the Big 12, the Couch Destroyers have had less fun on Saturday nights, often dropping big games in the friendly confines of Milan-Pusker Stadium. And keeping with tradition, the upstarts with a third-string quarterback will keep their Cinderella season going with another conference road win. The Generals victor, Iowa State. Clemson at NC State. Textile Bowl 2017 may be the biggest one yet. The Pack has been licking their chops at this perfect opportunity to showcase how far Dave Doran's boys have come in the conference. Luckily, the 2 blemishes on their schedule are out of conference, so State looks real pretty with that 4-0 ACC history. You'd better not tell the folks in the SO Club to fear a trip to Raleigh. Clemson has tamed the Wild Dogs 12 of the last 13 years. And what a performance Brent Venables' unit did in soggy Death Valley last weekend. This salute to the textile industry will be woven in the best football fabric, and in the end, the Generals' victor will be NC State in an upset. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. Question: what in the world are these 2 in-state rivals doing playing in early November, and not college football's rivalry weekend, the last weekend in the month? Please let the General know if you know. No matter the date, Bedlam is one of the sport's great contests, but the Pokes certainly know how to let their arch nemesis get the best of them. And like so many years before, this week's game will go a long way to sorting out the Big 12 gobbledygook, which has these 2 schools atop the standings alongside Iowa State and TCU. Mason Rudolph and his arm will answer the call, and Pistol Pete will lasso the W. The Generals victor, Oklahoma State. Well, November means college football is hitting the home stretch, and these Week 10 picks are proof. After the break, we'll let you know which ACC Coastal team will have the winning hand, Virginia Tech or Miami. And the Gamecocks strut into Athens looking to upset the number 2 Dogs. Don't go anywhere. General Gridiron will be right back.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, soldiers, this is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast is heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the region where college football reigns supreme, including LaGrange, Georgia, WTRP AM 620, the flagship station for LaGrange College Panther football, and WAKH FM 105.7, K106, Southwest Mississippi's Big Country in Macomb, Mississippi. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. South Carolina at Georgia. Glory, glory, Georgia's got it going on. The slobbering behemoths took it to their SEC nemesis at the cocktail party, and that big one got them moving up to number 2 in the polls. To put it in context, things are going real good between the Hedges. Georgia alum Will Muschamp ain't quite ready to purchase his proud alumni sticker for the Dogs' 2017 achievements. The University of South Carolina is paying him more than a few pesos to get wins, and defeating UGA is number 1 on the conference priority list. But bad news, Coach. The same turf you suited up in red and black on in the early 90s doesn't like chicken droppings, so Cocky better fly the coop. The Generals victor, Georgia. UCF at SMU. Both of these two are already bowl eligible, something quite remarkable considering the 0-12 season the Knights had just 2 years ago, and the Ponies' problems, well, are world-renowned. Before he leaves Orlando soon for another coaching gig, Scott Frost's Golden Legion wants to make this season even sweeter. And despite their best attempt to rip the Knights' armor apart, the Dallas Horses will be spent by halftime and put to pasture. The Generals victor, UCF. Virginia Tech at Miami. It ain't pretty, but it's working. Sebastian the Ibis cares not about the Cane style points. He just wants to keep his white feathers spotless. This ACC Coastal Donnybrook features the division leaders duking it out, and the winner emerges as the odds-on favorite to play in the conference championship. Hokie Bird's flight to Hard Rock Stadium lands just in time for the two birds to get them feathers flying. Malik Rozier has been a steadying force under center for Canes fans, so Bud Foster's defense beware. VPI's Josh Jackson will be called on to deliver via the air and ground, but will that be enough? The Generals victor? Miami in a super-duper close one. Texas at TCU. The Carter will welcome with open arms the home team back to Fort Worth, even though a setback happened the last time the Frogs played football up in Ames. But nothing gets the Purple Toads chirping more than a chance to beat up on the loudmouth Longhorns. The rebuilding in the capital city continues, or at least that's the line told by UT loyalists. Tom Herman may be the man to get her done, but if he doesn't hurry up, he'll be a cable guy in no time. Running back Kyle Hicks will be a workhorse in the red zone for the home team. The Generals victor, TCU. LSU at Alabama. Perhaps college football's most colorful skipper, Ed Orgeron, meets up with the most boring man in America, Nick Saban. Now that's the makings of one heck of a mashup. Both squads took a breather last weekend, so they should be good to go during this Saturday night special at the Capstone. Coach O couldn't beat Troy State, so why in the world would anyone think he could beat another Alabama school that plays ball in Tuscaloosa? But something happened to the Bayou boys after that embarrassing Sunbelt shocker, and they're playing like a different ball club. But no amount of energy drink will be enough to get the fiery Cajun prepared to lead his troops to a win against Mr. Saban, even though they're cooking up their best boudin. The Generals victor, Alabama. We've already looked at the weekend's heart-pounding matchups, but hang on to your helmet. There's more of the show coming up. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this weekend's lineup of frontline college football showdowns. Now it's time to fix bayonets and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Northwestern nukes Nebraska. Florida flummoxes Missouri. Kansas State takes care of Texas Tech. USC rides over Arizona. Mississippi State marginalizes Massachusetts. Penn State rebounds at Michigan State. Arizona State bedevils Colorado. Southeastern Louisiana tames McNeese State. Wisconsin whacks Indiana. Syracuse surprises Florida State. Georgia State continues Georgia Southern's misery. Ohio State wins at Iowa. Georgia Tech stings Virginia. Washington State outsmarts Stanford. Air Force drills past Army. Kentucky scratches Ole Miss. Michigan blasts Minnesota. Samford downs the Mercer Bears. Washington stomps Oregon. And yeehaw! Tennessee gets a win against Southern Miss. Well, troops, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this week's edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, and on YouTube TV. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Simply search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your weekend. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all. Y'all